Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Game Over Winnipeg's post-game show of tonight's game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Buffalo Sabres. Huge win for the Jets, 3-2 overtime win over the Buffalo Sabres, to snap a four-game losing streak. Really good game to win. A very back and forth, open style game that we'll get into. Tage Thompson opened the scoring on the power play, followed by a beautiful Gabriel Velarde tip off the Hayden Fleury shot to tie it at 1-1. And then Buffalo went up 2-1 later that period with a goal from Dylan Cousins. In the second period, the Jets finally got one on the power play. I think on their third or fourth power play of the game, Kyle Connor scored on a 5-on-3 to tie the game at 2. Teams traded chances in the third period, and even the overtime was very back and forth, could have gone either way, but in the final minute of the overtime, Adam Lowry, Captain Lowry, scored the game-winning goal. So the Jets win 3-2. Connor Hellebuck, excellent tonight, 28 saves. Vintage Helly made a lot of great stops as the Jets moved to 19-8-0, which is a tie for first place in the Central Division, and currently the only team with 19 wins on the season. So the Jets will, have a chance to be the first in the league, get to 20 wins on Saturday when they play Chicago. So again, my name's Ty Dilello, and we're glad to have you here. Do a quick ad read for Hyperdrive Hockey while we have you. Check out the flagship show of the Game Over Network on the Game Over Network channel. Hyperdrive Hockey, which is all things hockey, across various leagues in multiple countries, whatever it is and wherever it is. Max, Daphne, and Kev have you covered for all your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts on the Hyperdrive Hockey page or at thegameovernetwork.com. I got Pally Lindbergh in the chat who says, "Great win, Jets." And why was Lambert demoted in the third period to the fourth line? That's a question. We'll talk about Brad Lambert in the next segment of the show for sure, Pelly. So stick around for that. But I didn't really love the demotion. I'm a very big, very high on Brad Lambert. We'll get into that though. Kind of a game that the Jets needed tonight against Buffalo. A game that we needed desperately. And what I mean by that is Buffalo is not a very defensive team. They're very offensive-minded. They got a lot of young players. It helps that they're not a juggernaut in the league. But if you're a team that's kind of struggling to score goals like the Jets are, for example, playing a team like Buffalo, you're going to get your chances. It's very much, a run and gun, trading chances both ways, type of style that Buffalo's, kind of been playing this year. A little surprisingly under Lindy Ruff, but I don't know if he has much options, with the team that he has. Just kind of the players in Buffalo that they have are very offensive minded. You look at someone like Tage Thompson, who's a dynamic, number one center. Dylan Cousins, Yuri Kulich, Tuck. You got a lot of offensive minded players. And the defense, isn't there for Buffalo. Obviously, Rasmus Dahlin not playing tonight was a big hit to Buffalo's decor. And after Power and Byram, their top six isn't anything special with Gilbert, Jokiharju, Clifton, and Bryson. So it was definitely a game that the Jets needed. When the score was 2-2, Buffalo Sabres, they had a new player, Tyson Kozak from Souris, Manitoba, home of my grandma, and Tyson Kozak. Tyson Kozak scored. However, the goal was brought back due to goaltending interference. The Jets won the challenge. It was kind of funny seeing, Kozak's reaction on the bench, and then they showed Kozak's family who had flown in from Souris. They were watching it, and you could kind of live and die by their reactions to the goal. And then, when the goal was waved off, it was quite a spectacle, and it was good. It was obviously good for the Jets that goal came back, because it would have stood as the game winner if there were no other goals after that, and there were none in the third period. It was there's a lot, there's kind of a lot to kind of break down from tonight. I think that Arneal and the coaching staff will have a good look at the tape, because there was a lot that could be improved on, no doubt. Of course, there's good things from the game. Good to get the offense going. Good the power play got a goal. Just still not. We're still not seeing those crisp and clean Winnipeg Jets that we saw in the first 20 games of the season, 15 games of the season. They don't look as sharp. They look sloppy, tired, whatever you want to call it. They don't have that jump that they've had on teams. They're struggling right now, is the way to put it. And it's good that they were able to win tonight and break that losing streak. And it's just good to. It shows the sign of a good hockey team when you're able to win hockey games when you're not playing your best. So it was huge that the Jets were able to get 2 points tonight, pull it out. It'll be good for the morale. They're going to be positive. Hopefully when they go into Chicago and play another team that they should be beating. And then playing Columbus on Sunday, a team that they should be beating. So it's finally a break from playing those top teams. We're kind of getting a bit of a softball schedule these next couple games, which is good. The only thing I don't want to see is the Jets playing down to the level of their opposition, as they did a little bit tonight. And yeah, anything going in the chat? If you're there, speak up. Happy to have someone to go back and forth with. We'll go to the next period now, but before we do, let's do a quick ad read for LaRouche. Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page, and we're also working on a page through LaRouche, which is a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. So for LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000, and if we hit that goal, then we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. So if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see as giveaways from these crowdfunding efforts, please let us know in the comments, on Twitter, Instagram, our Discord server, or the Blue Sky app, which is kind of like the new Twitter that a lot of myself and a lot of Game Over hosts have kind of migrated over to. I tweet a lot from there about the Jets. I still call it tweeting, even though it's on a different app. So check out the Blue Sky app. Give us a follow. It's a way to stay connected with with us, with hockey. For all the Canadian markets in the National Hockey League. So I want to talk a little bit now about Lambo, Brad Lambert, who played his third NHL game tonight, his second of the season, second straight game with the Jets after being called up in the wake of Nikolai Ehlers' injury. Pelle Lindbergh in the chat had asked why was Lambert demoted in the third period to the fourth line. Sorry, Brendan Labarre, I didn't even know you were watching. Brendan, yes, like, comment, and subscribe to these videos if you're out there. If you're new, you're watching the video, like, comment, subscribe, it helps us. Yeah, please help us out. We need all the help we can get. Brendan, can I talk about Brad Lambert for a little bit, or do you want anything else I need to shout out? All right. Yeah, Brad Lambert did get demoted to the fourth line tonight, Pelly. I thought he started off the game. Well, he started off the game in pain actually. In the first, on his first shift of the game, he took a bad shot block to the kneecap. It looked like he went down, kind of ran off the ice, like he was shot. Was in a lot of pain on the bench, and then he promptly kind of went down the tunnel with the trainer. And I think a lot of Jets fans were worried. Is like, not Lambert, not injured off of a shot block. But if you blocked a shot, it usually stings for 5-10 minutes, and then you can get back out there, and that's essentially what Lambert did. When the Jets got their first power play of the game, about 5 minutes later, Brad Lambert was on the ice for the second power play unit. Definitely saw flashes of his speed tonight. I'll say that. He got. If you play fantasy hockey, he covered. He didn't record a shot on net yet in these two games, but he got a block and a hit, and he was 50% in the faceoff dot tonight. He also didn't play a lot 5-on-5. Brad Lambert, he didn't play a lot 5-on-5 tonight, just because there was a lot of special teams. And the coach, they didn't. When they were 5-on-5, they didn't roll out, that line as much. And then in the third period, as we saw, Alex Iafallo and Brad Lambert were switched. Iafallo went up to the second line, and then Brad Lambert played on the fourth line. And then I believe Lambert only got 2 or 3 shifts in the third period. But even when he was on the fourth line, we still saw, we saw his speed. We saw him trying to create. I don't know. Like I'm a big Brad Lambert supporter. I'm big into his future and him playing on this team. What I don't like is him playing with Cole Perfetti, who's like totally useless on the ice. These last 5-10 games, like Cole Perfetti's got the 2 biggest flaws an NHL player can have, and that he's slow, and that he's soft. So when you have Lambert, who's also considered a soft player, but at least Lambert's fast, he's shifty, he can make moves with the puck, he can shoot. Perfetti might be a better passer right now than Lambert, but that's about all. So it's not as fair of an opportunity, I would say, for Brad Lambert. When you got kind of this boulder kind of stuck on your line. Lambert needs to be playing with speedy players. Nemesnikov can hold his own, I think, but Lambert really needs to be playing. Lambert's game is all speed, and you have him with the slowest player in the NHL on his line. What do you think's going to happen? So we saw glimpses of Brad Lambert's speed. We saw it on the power play. We saw power play 2 come out. They created a little bit. Brendan Labarre, my man in the chat, here says, Brendan's my fellow Game Over Winnipeg host. He said, I couldn't watch the game tonight, going to watch it now, but I'm assuming it was to hold the lead. The team win was probably more important than getting him a few more minutes. That's what I thought. That's kind of what I thought as well. I thought kind of Arneal was going to shorten the bench a bit in the third period. And that, like I said, the fourth line barely played at all. I think in the future, like you gotta play 4 lines and just like assume that you're gonna beat Buffalo though. It seemed a little bit. No, they haven't won in 4 games. I take that back, but I think most nights, when you're not kind of in this losing streak, you play 4 lines and you assume that you're gonna beat the bottom teams in the league. Like the Jets are supposedly a cup contender. Alex Iafallo, we know what he does. He didn't bring much to that second line in the third period. That they were, quite frankly, they were horrible together. Nemesnikov and Perfetti, didn't do much all night, but especially in that third period, they gave up a couple of chances. and I'm saying this definitely a little bit biased too. I'm a huge Brad Lambert stan. I played him in my fantasy team. I almost played him in my fantasy team over Matvei Michkov tonight. And luckily I was able to play them both, and Michkov went on to get 3 assists tonight. But, I'm rolling with Brad Lambert right now. I want to see him in the lineup at least until Nikolai Ehlers is back, at least. I do not want to see Gus in the lineup on Saturday. I don't want to see Gus in the lineup on Sunday. These are games you have to give to Brad Lambert. You need to continue to see what he can do. Get him comfortable playing at the NHL level. If he has to be sent down, so be it once Ehlers is back. If he hasn't earned it, that's fine. But while there's an opening in the top 6, you have to give it to Brad Lambert. And really, Cole Perfetti, I'm not high on Cole. Cole Perfetti's the one you got to be starting to demote. Cole Perfetti is not a top 6 player at the moment. He should be playing on the 4th line. I think that there's a couple of players that could be getting a bump up in the lineup and getting more of a top 6 role. I want to see Brad Lambert get the second line center crack again, or playing on the wing, maybe to start the next game if that's what the coach thinks. But just want to see a little bit of rope. Brendan says 100%. I just think off 4 losses, it's important for sure. Yeah, for sure. Huge to get a win. But like in the next game against Chicago, just play them on a regular shift. Play Lambeau on a regular shift the whole game. Like, for God's sakes, it's Chicago. Brendan, is there a top 6 mix you'd prefer to get Lambert a better opportunity line mate wise? Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think eventually, and not just Lambert wise, I think the Jets eventually are going to have to, shake up the lineup. And I even would go as far as saying you have to break up the 3rd line. Mason Appleton has been very bad. Like, he's been Cole Perfetti bad these last 12 games. I would like to see, when Ehlers is back, I would like to see kind of something like a pairing, Lambert with a fast player, whether that's Kyle Connor, or that's Nikolai Ehlers. It'd be nice if 2 of those guys could play together. I would like to see Nino Niederreiter get a bump up to the top 6 at some point. Something like playing on a line with Scheifele and Velarde. Throwing Nino up there. He's a driver. He's driving the play, a lot more than Mark Scheifele is with his injury right now. Thought Gabe Velarde was a beast tonight. Gabe Velarde, as we know, is a very streaky player. So if he's kind of hot now for these next couple of games, that'd be great. He had 1+1 tonight and was fantastic, was buzzing, flying around the net. But yeah, you can't put Lambert and Perfetti together. And even like Nemesnikov, cannot be a top 6 player. If the Jets are going to be successful. Like, Nemesnikov's a very good utility player. He can play up and down the lineup, but if you're trying to show off, Brad Lambert's talents, it can't be with just players like that. Like, Brad Lambert's a highly skilled offensive threat, very speedy, very north-south. He needs kind of similar players to play with. So I would like to see a Connor. If Connor and Lambert could be paired up a game while Ehlers is out, and then when Ehlers is back, I'd like to see Lambert and Ehlers play together, and then throw whoever on the wing. Ty, you keep saying things as I'm typing them. I'm a big promote Nino guy. Yeah. Nino Niederreiter is a driver, and Nino Niederreiter is one of, I would say he's been a top 5, top 6 player on the Jets this season. Which I've been saying kind of all season. I know Nino had a little bit of a down year last year, but Nino Niederreiter is a fantastic player. And I know that Adam Lowry and Appleton love having him on their line. I know that they don't necessarily want to break up the 3rd line. But at some point, you have to. And whether that's temporary or not, Nino Niederreiter has, essentially been staple to the 3rd line ever since he's been. Aside from when he first joined the team, after the deadline 2 years ago, he's pretty much been a 3rd line player, mainly, and He deserves to play top 6 here and there. He certainly could use a bump up, in the lineup. He's very dynamic, he's a physical presence. Like, you put him on a line with, Scheifele and Velarde, he's that physical guy that's going to get the puck out of the corners and get it to Scheifele, get it to Velarde. Or if he plays, put Nino with Lambert. And get Perfetti off the line. At least you got, a physical presence, like that guy who can make plays, who can shoot the puck and score. I'm very high on Nino Niederreiter. He is kind of a Swiss Army knife like Nemesnikov, just a much better version, much better player. Especially Brendan Labarre, my man in the chat. Especially with how Barron and Kupari have been going, they seem like they have at least fresh legs right now. Not a permanent fix, but a fresher look. Absolutely. Kupari and Barron have looked fantastic this year. So if Appleton has to go down to the fourth line, if Perfetti has to go down to the fourth line, that's fine. The fourth line can get regular minutes too, to keep the other guys fresh. This isn't the Paul Maurice days anymore when the fourth line only plays 5 minutes. These are capable players that they've shown so far this season. And if you put a Perfetti, a skilled player, or an Appleton, they'll be fine. Like just give them a chance. Like, let's see some fresh lines. We just can't have Connor and Scheifele stapled together all year. We can't have Perfetti in the top 6. I haven't even gotten to Logan Stanley yet. We're saving that for the third period, Brendan. Like, Brendan says 62, 55, Nino, Scheifele, Velarde. Yeah, that should be our line for a couple games. Let's try it out. That's what I've been saying. And then let Connor and Lambert cook. They're so fast. And I don't know who to put on that line. Nemesnikov? Iafallo? Just anyone but Cole Perfetti, because Perfetti is where, offense goes to die. Let's do an ad read. We'll get to the next period, because we haven't even talked about the defense yet. And I've been waiting to talk about the defense. So, game on Winnipeg, which I hate. Brendan, I hate doing these ad reads for, because we don't have a game on Winnipeg. It doesn't exist. It's coming. I keep hearing that it's coming, that Harrison Lee's going to be doing this, but he ain't doing them. So Game Over has you covered after the game, which is what you're watching right now. But in order to get ready to watch the Jets, you've got to get your game on too. So Game On Winnipeg is a short-form daily news podcast covering everything that you need to know about the Winnipeg Jets, debuting soon, hopefully. Get all your Jets news in under 10 minutes, Monday through Friday on the Game Over Winnipeg YouTube channel and in podcast form. Or you can check it out on the GameOvernetwork.com/pages/Winnipeg. We have Game On, I believe, in the other Canadian markets for Game Over, so check it out. I don't personally. I'm not a big fan of the other Canadian teams, but some of you out there want to check it out. Please get those clicks. It's good for the algorithm, I hear. Yeah. Brennan says, in my household, we call Perfetti the Muffin Man. His shot is real soft. Maybe we can promote the Game On magazine my classmates wrote for. Sure. Yeah, the Game On magazine. That's Scott Taylor runs that, I believe. I think I've had an article or two up here and there. Yeah, check out the Game On magazine. It's on it's not on newsstands, but you can find it it's a free magazine that you can find in hockey arenas around Winnipeg. At the Iceplex, I've kind of seen them. I think you can also view that magazine online. So yeah, check it out. Check out the Game On magazine. And Perfetti is the Muffin Man. I've said that to my brother Braden before. I've said that we all know that his shot is soft. On the drive to the game on Tuesday, me and Braden were both in agreement that we'd like to see Perfetti traded. While he has some value, we're seeing the trades that we saw for Juracek. How hard it is to acquire, a good top 4D or a good defensive prospect, a right-handed defensive prospect, or just, because if you look at Cole Perfetti's numbers, he produces okay because he plays top 6 minutes for the Jets. Like, I think he has, whatever, 20 points or 19 points in 27 games, whatever it is. Like, so he does put up points here, but it's a lot of, empty calories. There's no peripherals. He's not getting he doesn't shoot much, he doesn't block, and he doesn't hit. And as I said before, he has the two biggest fatal flaws. He's slow and he's soft. And that just cannot do. That cannot do. I would trade Cole Perfetti ASAP while he has some value. But that's just me. I think that we're going to see Cole Perfetti in the top 6 again. And we better see Brad Lambert in the top 6 again on Saturday. I'll say that. The defense, Logan Stanley, Jesus Christ. I will say, Hayden Fleury, who's having to play a top 4 role, has looked all right. I think he had another good game tonight. He's kind of slowly. I still don't love Hayden Fleury. Like, he's not in the lineup, for a cup contender. He's not in the lineup once, Sandberg's healed. I still think. I don't know. I think Fleury's like a 6-7. I don't know why we're still doing Stanley Heinola. Is Colin Miller injured? If he's not, has he requested a trade? Like, why is he sitting for this Stanley Heinola pair? Like, why are we still playing Logan Stanley? I don't know. Logan Stanley, to his credit, really tried to get more engaged, I think, tonight. I think the coaching staff tried to light a fire under his butt. He fought Gilbert, some scrub from Buffalo, in the second period. He, was a little bit more of a presence in the game. I didn't love that he was killing penalties. He almost, he was kind of killing penalties in front of our net. He almost took additional penalties multiple times. He just really scares me every time that he's on the ice. And as a fan, like, that ain't good. I should not be scared like that Logan Stanley is going to do something dumb or like cost us a goal or get burned for a minus. At least Billy's making Billy play on his offside just so we can play Logan Stanley. Billy, we're trying to give him a good look and give him a run of games and see what we have. And to his credit, Billy's holding his own. He's kind of going unnoticed, which is a good thing. Like, I'm not noticing anything bad. I'm not noticing much good. He makes a good first pass. I feel like we gotta take Logan Stanley out of the lineup, Mr. Arneal. On Saturday, like, we really need to see Ville Heinola and Colin Miller as a third pairing, and we just need to see that. We cannot just keep playing Logan Stanley like this. Brendan says, we really tried to be nice to Logan on our shows. At some point, it's not his fault he's playing. Yeah. Yeah, it's not Logan's fault he's playing. It's kind of coaching staff is continuing to give him these looks, these opportunities. I really hated that quote Arneal said that, Logan's not going to get better in our press box. It's just they're just really, like, the Jets organization is really, really, really pushing for Logan Stanley to be a top 6 defenseman. For him not to be a bust. But we've given him the song and dance. Like, he's been a Jets player since, like, the bubble. He's, from, like, before COVID, he was playing for the Jets, and he's had, I guess, spurts where he's had, where he's looked like a capable defenseman, but, the vast majority of the time, he's nothing more but a fill-in, like a 7th, 8th defenseman, and he keeps getting opportunities that, he would not be getting if he was not 6'7". I think that he would be like, in the ECHL or less if he was a 6-foot-tall defenseman. He doesn't have the IQ, doesn't have the brain, doesn't have the skill, doesn't have the physicality for a 6'7" player, if I'm being perfectly honest. So it's at this point, yeah, Brendan, it's not on the player, it's on the it's on the coaching staff and the organization. Logan Stanley has asked for a trade before, so I would try to get a 6th or 7th round pick for him, and if not, if they can't get anything for him, put him on waivers. We have a guy named Elias Salamonson. We have a guy, Simon Lundmark, who is probably a much better defenseman than Logan Stanley that we haven't seen. We have Dylan Coughlin, who we've seen one game from, and I'm comfortable in saying that I'd rather see Dylan Coughlin in the lineup, or at least as our 7th D over Logan Stanley. The Jets gave Christian Vesalainen a 50-game run a couple years ago. He put up 2 goals, 1 assist, was horrible. And the Jets were able to cut ties with him, sever ties with him. He was a first-round pick that they finally considered a bust. It's time to do the same with Logan Stanley. I was gonna say I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it. I think we're all just pretty fed up with the situation, and we'd like to see it kind of come to a head. I think, either by this weekend or into next week's games when the schedule gets a little tougher when they play Boston and Vegas at home Tuesday, Thursday. This weekend, these weekends games against Chicago and Columbus. I think that we can continue to try things out. And then like Boston and Vegas are going to be 2 tough games that the Jets really need to lock in for. Let's do one more ad read. Let's put the merch up on the screen. Doesn't that look good? I made that myself. I don't have all the graphic skills that Brendan has, but I did make that one. So what better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. So whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, which is currently on sale, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our Live and Die by the Goalie design, or if you just need another coffee to get you through the winter, we have you covered. So designed by our very own Brady Chalice from Game Over Winnipeg. You can use the QR code that's on the stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. So if you're out there and you want to support the Jets or support the Game Over Network, or just want another kind of some more Jets merch to rep, check it out. You might be surprised with what we got available on sale. There's a lot of nice designs. It looks very professional, which I guess I'm not surprised with. And yeah, check out the merch. With that, I guess if there's nothing else in the chat, Brendan, you're watching the game now. I guess that we'll kind of wrap things up. It was good to be back. I thought I had some stuff to say. Brendan did a great job the last couple games. Winnipeg Jets will be back in action on Saturday. It's an afternoon game on the road against the Chicago Blackhawks. The game puck drops at 3 o'clock. Early start for all you people. And the Jets will look to be the first team in the NHL to win 20 games this season. So we're looking forward to that. And it is a doubleheader. The Jets play the next on Sunday at 5 o'clock back at home. So that'll be a quick turnaround. I will be doing both of those games. And then Brendan will be doing Tuesday and Thursday against Boston and Vegas, as yours truly will be in the building those games, which I'm looking forward to. A couple of tough Jets matchups. Good to be in the building for. Hopefully Brad Lambert's still on the team then. Fingers crossed. Thank you all for watching. My name's Ty Dilello again from here at Game Over Winnipeg. From me and Brendan, everybody else at the Game Over Network. We thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Keep clicking us. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Peace, everybody. Take care.